The story begins in the province of Beijing and Shang, where a man is lying in the middle of an altar. The people around him ask if he really wants to continue with the ritual, and Emperor Qushu commands them to proceed immediately. This man is known as EUNUCH, the person behind all the power of the Empress of the Ming Empire, a secretive figure who monopolizes the territory and authority of the land. He is also known as the worst villain in history for manipulating the empire's politics for his own benefit, and he is, in fact, our protagonist. Through great effort, he managed to transform the insignificant third empress into the reigning empress. However, despite all his successes, there is something he cannot achieve. Looking at a book of combat positions in his room, he remarks how unbelievable it is. Since he is a eunuch, it is obvious that he cannot partake in this kind of combat. Suddenly, someone bursts into the room, calling him an idiot and shouting for the old man. It is the third empress, Yuanhua, who demands to know why he wants to leave this world. She kneels and begs him to stop this mysterious ritual, asking if the union of yin and yang is really so important to him. She wants to know why he can't just be happy with her by his side. She says that if it's money or power he needs, she will give him everything he wants as long as he stops the ritual. But Chilsu responds that he has already made his decision. He asks for her forgiveness for his betrayal, but says he cannot serve her until the end. Naturally, the question arises. Why is our protagonist so obsessed with the union of yin and yang? Most people wouldn't understand, but for him, it is crucial. This is because he is a reincarnated soul, and in his past life, he was also a virgin. Even now, he remains a virgin, having lived more than 50 years without experiencing anything. The infamous reincarnation truck struck him while he was crossing the street, and he ended up in this martial world for 50 years. He died at 28 and reincarnated as a 12-year-old boy. The problem was that as soon as he arrived, he was kidnapped by a maniac. This was no ordinary kidnapper. The lunatic castrated all the men to sell them as eunuchs on the black market. Despite all this, Chilsu did everything possible to restore his masculinity. He transformed the princess into an empress just to meet an extremely renowned doctor. He mastered martial arts to the point of rebirth and became the most powerful martial artist in the palace. But even when one of the men knelt before him and declared that creating something out of nothing was impossible, he understood his intentions. The man apologized, explaining that only if he were reborn once more could he recover what he had lost. This made Chilsu question the purpose of money, power, and martial prowess if he remained a eunuch. These events led him to decide to reincarnate into a new body. He wants to experience a life full of combat and action behind closed doors. Essentially, he's a close combat prodigy, and if he can't enjoy life with the most extraordinary fighters, he won't be satisfied. He orders them to remove the Empress, who leaves crying, questioning how he could do this and not wanting to see him die in such an insignificant way. She calls him father because he raised her from childhood. Naturally, having known her since she was so young, he only sees her as a child or a younger sister. The moment she starts crying, he almost changes his mind. However, the decision has already been made, and to him she is family who will have to cope with his loss. A man wearing a turban approaches and warns that the reincarnation technique is an extremely forbidden ritual. Out of every 100 people who attempt it, 99 die, and he asks if Chil-Su really wants to risk it. Chil-Su looks down and thinks that if he must live this way, it's better to die. He then orders the ritual to proceed. In life, he has conquered and enjoyed all that strength can bring. He has also spent all the wealth he could. All he wants now is to be reborn, and for that, he is willing to risk everything. As his entire body glows with a pink light, he sees a blurry old man calling to him. Slowly, he opens his eyes and rises, wondering where he is. The old man simply says he's glad the boy seems fine. However, Chil-Su immediately recognizes who this bastard is. This is the same cursed old man who castrated him 50 years ago in the Imperial Palace. Chil-Su remembers that in the past he had tried to hunt this man down only to discover he had been killed by some bandits. However, it seems that instead of reincarnation, what happened was a regression in time. He thought he would gain a new body by reincarnating, but as soon as he looks down his pants to check, the old man, confused, asks if he's hurt. Chil-Su grins psychotically at him and thanks the old man for saving him before apologizing. The old man helps him up and mentions he has some herbs at home that would help the boy recover. But Chil-Su laughs, breaks the man's finger, and asks if he plans to kidnap him again to sell him as a eunuch. When the old man asks how he knows about this, Chil-Su twists the man's arm. Despite just regressing in time, he still remembers the martial arts of his previous life, and for someone who stood at the top of the Imperial Palace, defeating an old man is effortless. He puts the old man in a chokehold, saying that in his previous life he was saddened to learn the old man had already been killed. But this time, it would be Chil-Su who would end him. After squeezing the life out of him, the man's body drops to the ground. Chil-Su spits on the corpse and reflects that it has been a long journey, but he finally reached this point. In his past life, even with all the power and wealth he amassed, he couldn't enjoy any of it. Now, however, he is a completely different person. Whether reincarnation or regression, from now on, he will live for the pleasures of life, if you catch my drift. And so begins the story of the second eunuch who reclaimed his masculinity. 2 months pass after his revenge against the cursed old man. Kyo-Soo walks across a bridge, freezing in the cold. At this moment, he is trying to reach the province of Gamsuk, suffering along the way. But he tells himself that this pain is nothing compared to the life of pleasure he dreams of living. Although he has never experienced it, he knows it's more than just physical contact. If it were only that, he could simply earn money and buy some private combat sessions. However, he refuses to settle for such low-quality experiences. What he wants is to share true love with wonderful women, a connection of emotions and mental intentions. He dreams of the kind of love that leaves both people completely satisfied. Drooling at the thought, he declares this is the perfect thing to pursue. Still, he knows that to achieve this level of intimacy, you will need food and money. This is why he has decided to start his path toward becoming a hero in the martial world. Thinking he would reincarnate into the future, he had buried many treasures in his grave. Unfortunately, this isn't the case, but he still has the advantage of knowing what will happen 50 years into the future. With his martial prowess, he is confident that becoming a respected hero won't be too difficult. First, however, he needs to correct his habit of laughing like an idiot from his EUNUCH days. And so he swears this is where the legendary story of the harem king Lee Chil-Soo begins. He signals toward a building and asks if anyone is inside. From within, someone hears the voice of a child and steps out, wondering how anyone could climb the mountain in such a blizzard. Chil-Soo takes a deep breath and shouts for all to hear that he has lost his family to bandits and needs help to grow stronger. He declares that he wants to become a disciple of the joint clan. This martial faction combines 3 philosophies, Confucianism, Buddhism, and Taoism, to combat the dark forces of Django. However, to outsiders, they are often seen as either a demonic sect or a group of bandits. The old man rushes toward Chil-Soo and scolds him for risking his life by climbing the mountain in winter. Chil-Soo simply replies that nothing else matters if he can join the joint clan. The old man stops and tells him to show his arms and hands. He touches the boy's wrists and notices that the natural energy in Chil-Soo's body is already expelling impurities. Somehow, the boy knows the technique required to ascend the mountain. The old man praises him, saying that if he managed to get there, it proves he has some talent. He asks if Chil-Soo knows the basics of martial arts or if his family taught him anything. Chil-Soo claims that yes, that's exactly the case. Of course, he's not about to reveal he has 50 years of experience. The old man introduces himself as Zhang Yang, leader of the Gangdong sect, and explains that there are several processes to join. However, based on Chil-Soo's basic talent, he will approve him. Chil-Soo celebrates as everything is going according to plan. He came to this place precisely because he knows Gangdong is on the brink of collapse, so they won't refuse a new disciple. Chil-Soo starts walking around doing pelvic exercises to prepare for future action. As he explores, however, he notices that the place is in far worse condition than he remembers. There isn't a single intact building, which is shocking given that he knows this sect will rise to become one of the top 5 in the world within 50 years. Seeing the scale of destruction now makes him doubt that a little. Zhang Yang tells him he must meet someone, the master of the sect's disciples. Chil-Soo thinks that the more chaotic Gangdong is now, the better for him. This way, he can become the prominent swordsman who saves a fallen sect, creating a legendary tale. They stop in front of a temple, and Zhang Yang calls for someone named Ruya, announcing the arrival of a new disciple, Lee Chil-Soo. Chil-Soo shields himself from the harsh blizzard. Suddenly, someone rushes out of the building. Chil-Soo is startled as the person welcomes him as the new disciple. Chil-Soo wonders why this person is so ridiculously handsome. It's not a master as he assumed. It's a boy around his age. He recalls from the manuscripts that this person was supposed to be incredibly ugly, but in person, he's shockingly good-looking. If this continued, his future was at risk. Ruya asks if he's okay, and Chil-Soo responds that there's nothing wrong with him. He then extends his hand and tells Huyep to stop being so formal, since they are brothers from now on. Chil-Soo is annoyed that this bastard is still so nice, secretly wishing the guy only had 3 centimeters at most. Ruya tells him to hurry up because there are many places he wants to show him. Before Chil-Soo can say anything, Ruya pulls him away, but strangely, Chil-Soo doesn't want to be touched by him. He pulls his hand back and tells Huyep not to touch him like that. Ruya, or is it Kuya? Chil-Soo still isn't sure if this is a man or a woman, and he's a bit confused. Apologizes, saying it's their first time having a disciple and they got a bit too excited. Chil-Soo also apologizes, admitting